people have a choice. Asian people have a voice. Asian people have a voice. Asian people have a voice. Asian hate is not allowed. Asian hate is not allowed.
So many people have been affected by from different areas, so not just Chinese international students, but also people who are British-born Chinese, people who look Chinese, Malaysian Chinese, etc.
I hate Asians.
This kind of racism is unacceptable. The power of ordinary people, coming out, holding placards saying, no, not enough, we're not tolerating this anymore.
那么多年以来，就是华人的隐忍的态度，其实是证明完全是错误的，没有任何作用的。然后现在就是需要大家来觉醒，需要大家来站起来发声，然后来告诉这个社会，就是我们华人其实就是不是那么好欺负的。然后也呼吁就是整个社会更加开放、更加平等。因为这个歧视文化其实它就是也是一个非常根深蒂固，也并不是通过你2次的就是抗议啊或者什么就可以改变的，但是只要我们一直做下去，然后就会来改变这个环境，对，至少比不做能有改变，对。我叫张旭，然后我们这边印了许多这个关于 Stop Asian Hate 的海报，然后上面有我们整个的这个活动的信息。然后就号召大家都来参加吧。然后我们还印了许多的这个传单、海报，然后都张贴在了就是中国城啊这些亚裔比较集中的地区。有一些这个当地的店家可能就我们想把海报贴在他店里，然后来宣传一下我们活动，可能他就不是非常乐意。然后也有一些人，就是他们就明确跟我们说，他不觉得英国就是有对华人的这个歧视。就也有一些比较就是严重的案件就发生。
我没感觉到，我听点上去我没感觉到。
是，对，所以我觉得，就我们需要做的工作还很多，就是，就整个社区，我觉得并没有意识到整个歧视是一个非常严重的问题。然后我们当时也说，也想通过这个活动，然后让社区唤醒社区，然后让社区更团结，然后来大家来共同面对这个歧视。因为现在这个就是还真的挺严重，
对中国挺好，对吧？
对，
歧视也都咱受歧视嘛。
对，所以还是，就是其实我们也就忍耐了很长时间，现在也是应该发一发声的时候了。
对呀，
对，
这说也没有用。
对，其实我觉得还是得就是整个华人社区站出来，然后统一发声，让大家知道我们对这个。
贴窗户上贴哪？
都可以看您。
你看随便没事，你看哪显眼贴哪。
行。对，然后这背面是这个就是就是伯明翰警方提供了一个中英文的，就是关于这个歧视仇恨犯罪的一个报警的方式和您怎么识别这些犯罪的一个就是基本信息，您可以看一下。然后有几个报警的方式。好的，可以。对。集会的信息背面我们也给大家准备了，就是怎么样识别仇恨犯罪，然后以及怎么报警的这个信息。然后这方面的信息是由这个伯明翰当地警方给我们提供的。对。
Police forces across the country told us of 267 recorded offences in the first 3 months of this year, compared to 375 for the whole of 2019.
我们从警方得到的数据，针对亚裔的仇恨犯罪事件的报案量已经上升了3倍，所以现在是一个非常，我觉得是一个比较半分紧急的阶段吧。因为如果我们华人社区再不做反应的话，我们的处境肯定会越来越差。然后我们在中国城，周5吧，然后安排了一场就是散发传单的活动。那肯定就是大部分都是很支持的，然后有一些就是非常支持的，就是我们拿出海报，他一看，他基本就明白什么意思。因为Stop Asian Hate 这个话题自那个疫情以来，它就因为华人屡次遭到歧视，然后在美国那边 Stop Asian Hate 其实已经组织过很多场比较成功的抗议了。所以其实整个华人社群，海外的华人社群，其实大家都知道这个运动，所以我们有些特别支持，一拿出来大家都知道什么意思。然后，同时我们也发现也有一些人， 就是不知道现在华人就在海外面临的 hate crime 或者是这种歧视的状况，然后有一些可能不太了解，然后我们就会跟他做一个就是跟他做一个说明吧，然后有一些也是比较支持，然后有些人可能也是不是很支持。也想通过这个活动，首先让华人认识到我们面临的这些问题，因为有些华人，他没有经历过特别严重的，他觉得种族歧视就是特别严重，像美国一样，可能当街有人拿枪打你，或者是一拳给你打趴下。但是其实我们想告诉他们，就是不管多轻微的歧视，哪怕就是他的言语对你言语攻击，它都是一种歧视，都是一种就是仇恨的犯罪。现在我们所处的场地就是伯明翰华人社区中心。新冠疫情还没有完全的开。它是在60几年建立的，至今已经有很多，就是应该几十年的历史了吧。它是由一开始二战以后的华人移民，然后在伯明翰定居下来，然后他们建立的，就有点像那个李安之前有一个电影，他描绘了纽约华人中心，就是大家就是有一个活动中心，干什么都有，有打乒乓球，有在那儿练太极的，这个就是一个类似的一个场地。包括整个中国城，包括整个现在华人的这个生意，然后目前我们现在在的是华人社区中心的这个活动室。我们这边华人中心主要就是有2部分组成，一方面第一部分就是我们就是作为社区的董事，其实就是一个给华人社区整个发展提供一个方向的一个群体，就类似于一个决策的一个决策层。然后我们每2个月要开一次董事会，然后会讨论一些社区方面的内容，然后比如说我们下一阶段整个社区的目标是什么，需要再做一些什么工作，然后另外华人社区中间还有一个比较非常专业的管理层，他们都是全职的就是雇员，然后来负责执行我们的一些计划，对，所以他们这个也是非常专业的管理层。对，然后他同时也负责，就是因为这边有一些华人的，像第一代的移民，就是他也有一些老人，然后负责组织人手，然后去做一些 care， 就是照料老人的工作，然后同时也有就是为华人举办其他活动，包括有些华人有一些困难，他也可以来到社区中心，我们会帮他做一些咨询，或者是帮他去联系当地的一些政府，然后来解决他的问题和困难。对，这个最丑的如果我们置之不管的话，它很有可能发展到更严重的，上升到更严重的级别，就可能以后就会比较危险对于我们整个华人的社区。对，然后对，基本上就是有这方面的目标，然后可能对于社区的让社区觉醒，可能更是长期的目标吧。当然，长期目标也包括让这个社会更加平等，创造对华人更好的环境。这个其实我觉得是需要几代人来完成的。但只要像我刚才说，只要你做了，其实它就会改变。
Think coronavirus, COVID-19.
China virus, go back to China.
And we never know what it means. And there's like one of my best friends that asked me like what that means, and I just told her that it doesn't mean anything, and I don't know what it means as well. I'm not from China, and they just think that I'm from China. I never stepped in China before, and I'm born and raised in Malaysia.
They have been shouted at, being called COVID-19. Sometimes they get, the C word, which I don't really want to say. They get called chinks or chinky. And that is actually an offensive word. It is like the N word for the black people and the P word for the Pakistani people.
So we've had even primary school students at primary school who have been attacked racially, saying COVID-related hate crimes, even at primary school. We've had Chinese takeaways who've been attacked, graffitied, elderly Chinese international students, people who are not even Chinese, who have been targeted specifically because of COVID.
Developments in our war against the Chinese virus.
COVID. That name gets further and further away from China as opposed to calling it the Chinese virus.
It's ridiculous. You know, it did not come from Chinese food. It came from, it's a zoonotic disease. If you listen to these dangerous politicians or far-right people, what that will lead to is fascism and Nazism.
I mean, Trump's gone, but his legacy and that, you know, kind of linking the Chinese community with COVID still exists. And it's just completely unacceptable. And, you know, it just needs to be put into the dustbins of history.
But like there's some other student that's like year 7, the youngest one, they always like curse at me, like saying that, do you eat like animals like cats or dogs? And like they would like mimic the eyes.
In a lot of movies there are, you know, depictions of the Chinese community, their names are mocked, and it just seems to be unchallenged, because sometimes I watch a movie and I'm uncomfortable with, you know, the racial slurs, and then I kind of do a bit of research and see, has anyone complained about this? You know, is there any articles critical of it? Nothing, complete silence. And I think, you know, it's about time that we said no. I mean, we were talking about Apu from The Simpsons, that was a kind of racial stereotype of Indians. Now that has been stopped. This should be extended to, you know, all communities who are depicted in media, in entertainment, and, you know, this kind of racism just seems to be funny, and the news is it's not funny.
In the media, there's been quite a lot of negative press about China and Chinese people related to the COVID-19. And also, if you remember, last year, whenever there's stories about COVID-19, they often put Chinese people in face masks. So that was not acceptable. And CARC, and others, we have also written complaints. And so we want to work with the media in the long term, so that when they write stories about us, about the Chinese community, their language and the images they use are more suitable.
This is how we just deal with racism. We just ignore it, like, because we can't do anything else. Like, there's no any Asian voice that we just speak out. Like, there's like Black Lives Matter, like everyone just support the Black life, but like, where's the Asian one?
Racism is a long-term problem. Other groups like the blacks and the Indians and the Pakistanis, the South Asian, they have been fighting, or the Jews, they have been fighting racism for many, many years.
No matter what race we are, we have a right for it, and we have the voice for it as well. It's very hard to speak out for myself when just alone standing there. I really appreciate if anyone just speak out for us. Not all Asians are like bad, and not all everyone's are bad. It's just like what you think can hurt someone.
This is our God. Hallelujah.
So a protest today like this is not going to be significant in terms of the history. And if we want to really change things, it cannot stop today. We have to carry on. And it has to be sustained over a long period of time in order for some real change to happen. And we should not do it alone. For us in the Chinese community and the East and Southeast Asian communities, compared to the South Asians and to the blacks, we are fairly new in this. So we need to learn to work also together with the more established and experienced group, learn to work together. And as I was saying in my speech, yes, we need to have a voice for ourselves as a community, but we also need to join our voices with all the other groups, because racism affects all of us.
Yeah, you might actually notice these red socks.
Stop. Always use your voice wherever you can. And ask you all just to join, see what you can do, get involved, because please, we all have a voice, we all matter, individually and collectively as well. Thank you all very much indeed.
Stop!
The need to speak out and call out racism, wherever it comes from and whoever it affects, is absolutely vital. Indeed, we must stand shoulder to shoulder against them, and if we do that, we can beat them. Stop!
Let's be clear. Words have consequences. Actions from people in power have consequences. When the disgrace that we call the former President of the United States called this the China virus, he was fueling the flames of hate. And it's an absolute disgrace. It's an abomination that here in this country we have people in positions of power who use their words to fuel division, to fuel hatred. And I think it's our responsibility as communities to stand up and to hold those people to account. Because I think on a cross-party basis, we need to call upon the government to give us more resources, more help in tackling hatred, and to stop using phraseology that divides communities, to stop turning one group against the other. We don't need that in our society. And any politician from any party that fuels hatred, you should chuck them out of office at the next election. Doesn't matter who they are or where they are from. Those words have consequences. Words in the media have consequences. When Piers Morgan went about putting across his vile hatred, trying to take mick of the Chinese accent, those things have consequences. He should apologize to the Chinese community for what he did. He should apologize for what he did. He should resign from his position. Because at the end of the day, unless we demand a zero tolerance to hatred, nothing is going to change. We need more resources so that our communities do not feel in fear when they're walking down the streets, because they're wearing a headscarf, a burqa, they speak a particular accent, or they look in a particular way. And it's all of our responsibility to ensure we do that. Finally, thank you very much for doing this. But I think we need to continue, we need to keep that pressure on those in power, and we need to have a concerted effort. Whenever someone tries to divide communities, we all need to get together from all backgrounds to say there's no place for you in public office if you spout the rubbish that you do. Thank you very much, and absolute solidarity.
It really is in the kind of discourse of culture and in the mainstream, and we really need to start calling it out and saying this is unacceptable. It was unacceptable when people used to, take the mick out of my name because it wasn't English sounding, and I think we should start, looking at things like that now, pointing out, having a go, everywhere it is, everywhere it shows its face, we need to get a hammer and bash it down.
I feel that same anger in my heart, but my laziness just seems to prevail. But then I look at groups like this, especially over the last couple of years, who could take that anger and turn it into electricity to push social remedies forward. You just can't sit back.
Blame the other. That's a scandal, isn't it? Blame the other. Blame the brown face. Blame the black face. The Chinese community is not on their own. But also we have to make the links with other communities here, both in Birmingham and nationally. As it says, doesn't it? Make love, not hate. Stop Asian hate. And I think finally, let's have a nice big shout, yeah? Stop! I can't hear you. Stop! Thank you very much.
When it comes to racism, we should not work in our individual ethnic silos, yeah? Because it affects all of us. Doesn't matter where we come from. Doesn't matter about our political views. Doesn't matter about our genes, doesn't matter about what we do, what we work, and so on. It affects all of us. Therefore, we ought to work together as much as we can. And one of the things about this country, or as I understand democracy in this country, is that we can have disagreement amongst ourselves, but we can also agree to work together on common things, on common grounds that And something like racism is something that can unite all of us. We can work on this together, and we should. Stop, stop! Stop, stop! Stop, stop! And remember, Asian hate is a very wide word that covers a lot of different groups in Asia. Okay?
And then you have English people saying, oh, there's no such thing, I don't do racism. And they deny that there is white privilege, but there is white privilege because we don't get this hassle at all.
I think it is really necessary because racism is not a current issue. It has been bothering us for generations, and the Chinese community here in the UK have been suffering it silently for a long time. And it's time to make a change through making a voice. So this kind of rally and protest is exactly what we need at the moment. I do hope next time we have this kind of rally or protest, we can have more people joining us to make a bigger voice.
I'm Zhang Xu.
My name is Yao Poon.
My name is Councillor Alex Yip.
My name's Salman.
My name is Dave Hurt.
My name is Imtiaz.
My name is Angela Huang.
My name is Sheng.
My name is Yuki.
My name is Zhao Yue.
My name is Xingxi.
And I'm determined to make sure that the voice of all Chinese people across Britain is absolutely heard, and that racism is stamped out as soon as we possibly can.
And I support all Asians in their fight for equality and their normal human rights.
I speak up for all Asians.
I speak for Asian people, also humanity.
I support all Asians.
I support all Asians.
Racism against the Asian community is unacceptable. It is a virus, and it's a virus we should destroy.
I here ask for equality for all Asians. Please stop Asian hate.
Stop Asian hate.
Please stop Asian hate.
Please stop Asian hate.
Please stop Asian hate.